This is Hank and the Hornet on 98.9 The Flex, the official home of your Chicago Bulls.
Get hip or get stung.
Let's meet the visiting team, the Chicago Bulls. At point guard, Kobe White. At center, Wendell Carter. At small forward, Otto Porter. At the other forward position, Thaddeus Young. At the other guard position, Zach Levine. The head coach of the visiting team is Chip Boylan. Shooting guard position at 6'3", number 1, Malik Monk. At the small forward position, standing 6'8", number 5, Nicholas Batum. The other forward, at 6'6", number 14, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. In the middle, 7 feet, number 40, Cody Zeller. The other guard, 6 feet 1 inches, number 12, Terry Rozier. Your home team head coach is Jamie Borrego.
Welcome, everyone. It's time for NBA action. Coming to you live on this Saturday night. With Greg Anthony and Chris Webber, this is Kevin Harlan. David Aldridge will be reporting from the sidelines. Here we are in November, and let's see how things are going out east in the early season. Taking a look at the Hornets, they reside in the 7th slot right now in the early part of the season. And, of course, there's the Bulls. They're much further down in the standings right now.
And, you know, for the Bulls, with the start they've had, they've taken what was such a hopeful preseason and turned the mood sour.
Well, it's clear they didn't do enough in the offseason to make any kind of major improvement. They're in for a long year.
Let's check out Chicago's starting lineup. Levine at the 2 with Porter at the 3. Young and Carter are the big men inside. And it's White in at the 1. And for the Hornets, Rozier and Monk, they're the backcourt. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist out there with Batum. And it's Zeller in at the 5 spot. Big conference rivalry tonight, Chris. Think back to some of your legendary bouts between, say, your Sacramento team and the LA Lakers.
Oh, man,
checked in for Chicago.
For so long, the Hornets have been a perimeter-oriented team. Chris, now they need to find an impact big man.
Yeah, well, Jay, remember, they did have a couple of good years with Al Jefferson where he was a force inside, but that was the last time the team made the playoffs. More balance in their attack would do wonders for this offense.
And with Cody Zeller, he has a very workmanlike approach when he's on the floor.
Yeah, Kevin, and that's what Zeller is all about, playing a simple meat and potatoes type game. I mean, what he does won't show up in the box score, but it'll show up in the standings.
And they call the foul, so he's got the and one chance here to make it a three-point play. That's going to send Wendell Carter to the line. It goes on Cody Zeller. The Bulls shooting their first free throw of the night here.
And as
has a team really just middle of the pack in terms of their percentage from the line at about 76.
Well, it didn't take long, Chris, before the Bulls started viewing Wendell Carter as their center for the future.
Yeah, about halfway through the season. He was on a short list of won't-be-traded players for the Bulls. It's not easy to find a big man that fits into the team as well as Carter does with the Bulls.
And one of those little spark plug guys, Terry Rozier, plays the game with Greg, I think, a chip on his shoulder.
I mean, the story goes, as a kid, when his temper flared, his mother would have to sit on him until he cooled down. He's learned to channel that fire and emotion into his game.
Outside, Batum sinks the three-pointer.
This is an area where Batum does major damage. The defense must respect his touch from there.
Here's the great. He had a 30-point outing their last game against Miami.
And they kept fouling him. I mean, it only made him more aggressive. He wound up having a huge night at the free throw line.
Well, you have to applaud Shea for doing what he feels is right. I heard that, Greg, after a recent game, he made sure to spend time with his fans.
And that is something that you don't see enough of from the young rookies coming into the league. Glad to hear that Shea remembers that ultimately it is all about the fans.
To the paint. Lays it up off the glass.
Oh, man, elevating his passing ability. Dimes like this from Rozier help him establish chemistry with his guys.
Here's the great. Zeller grabs the board. Charlotte has gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game. Batum, good. Batum's got 5.
Oh, and Batum just has astounding body control, which is what allows him to hit shots despite obvious physical contact.
Here's the great. Up and in on the layup.
I like that pick play. I mean, you can see how easily it makes it for him to get to the cup.
Charlotte trailing. Rozier looking around, and the foul on Wendell Carter. So that will be his second foul of the game. We're in the bonus, and we'll go to the line to shoot 2. For Charlotte, they have missed a few free throws up to this point, shooting 4 of 7 from the foul line tonight. So an almost entirely new group in now for Charlotte. Hernan Gomez is checked in for Cody Zeller. Williams comes in for Kid Gilchrist. Bridges, he's checked in for Nicholas Batum. And Bacon subbed in for Malik Monk. And foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line. And it's time for a look at our rookie leaderboard to see which rookies have been the most dangerous scorers in the league over the last 10 games. Well, you look at the great, among the league leaders, 4th in scoring.
He's really showing what he can do. I mean, providing an impressive knack offensively for a first-year player.
Both free throws good from the great.
And when you watch the Bulls play, Chris, they just seem to lack an organizational direction.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the team committed to Boylan to shape their youth. They don't seem to be interested in playing up-tempo or following any NBA trend. The distrust between players in the front office is not helping their recruiting of free agents. A lot going wrong.
Felicio with the bucket.
And they've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotations and getting the ball in the paint.
Rozier against Satoransky. Now Rozier. He has 7. Let's go. Satoransky grabs the miss.
Now, look, even if he had other places to go with the ball, that's a good shot. You can't blame him for letting that one fly. Nice pass. I mean, putting in work on the interior, gotta love it.
Here's the great. 6 points for him. To the inside. Here's Felicio. Score the basket. His second of 2 attempts.
Look, that's a nice play. You need low post scoring to keep your offense balanced.
So Rozier will bring it up for the Hornets. Trailing by 4. They defeated the Wizards in their last game.
Yeah, and with most of the arena against them, they just banded together and trusted one another to make the right play.
Well, the crowd didn't seem to faze them at all. They knew what their game plan was and followed it accordingly.
And you don't ever want to get into the habit of letting the offense get to the rim.
Free throw good, Hernangomez.
And after watching Willie Hernangomez, play a few seasons, it is clear.
Hey, just box out, box out.
An almost entirely new group in now for Charlotte. Zeller, he's checked in for Hernangomez. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist comes in for Marvin Williams. Nicholas Batum, he's checked in for Dwayne Bacon. And it's Malik Monk in for Rozier. As you mentioned, Hernangomez, a good option, Chris, for points at the center spot, but defensively still a work in progress.
Yeah, he has the potential to be a starting center at some point. You see the flashes on defense and with rebounding, but he'll just be a spot-up player until he can be a difference maker in those areas on a nightly basis.
So for Chicago right now, and small forward and power forward, Porter and Young. The great out there with White, and it's Carter in at the center position. That's good from the great. Both free throws good from the great. We're talking about number one options at the offensive end. There's a mentality, right, that you got to have as the teams go to score, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's look at Harden. He can go 0 for 7, and then he expects to go 27 for 27. How about Curry? Have you ever seen Thompson when they said, oh, my God, Klay Thompson is off. Last game, he only had 11 points. Well, when that happens, you can bet your last dollar that the next game, he's going to make every shot. And so what it is, again, a short memory. Whether you make a lot, so what? I'm going to do that again tonight. And if you missed a lot the previous night, so what? That wasn't this night. Let's get it right now.
The jumper Bridges has is wet, demonstrating how lethal he is from his spots on the court.
The great passes to Carter. Bridges with the steal. That's tipped. Zeller dishes to Bridges. Inside. A second chance effort. And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a three-point play. Going to the line for one.
Now there's the high basketball IQ of Zeller. He knows he's going to get whacked, but he turns it into an and one.
Well, the big question heading into the offseason for the Hornets was if they'd keep Kemba Walker.
Yeah, you're right, G.A., and it seemed unlikely for Kemba to stay, and that was the case. Losing a leader like him hurts, but now this team can rebuild from the ground up.
And Batum kicks to Monk. And he uses the glass on the layup. Monk's got his second bucket of the game to go.
And they're forcing the ball inside, and it's working like a charm.
The great passes to Carter. Can't connect from short range.
I love to see the defense exhibit some passion in protecting the rim right there.
From outside, off the mark. The Bulls leading by 16. On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, Charlotte's had to wait a bit the last few years. Now, the city hosted the All-Star game last season. But for the Hornets, they've gone 3 seasons without a playoff appearance and 15 seasons without winning a playoff series. In that time, the franchise has had 7 head coaches and a shifting front office. But Buzz City is hoping that its wait for playoff relevance will end soon. Kevin?
We all are. David, thank you. Here's the great, defended by Batum. Here's the great. And he can't stop this drought. Another miss.
Nothing seems to be going down for him today.
Now, here's Monk. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against Washington.
Yeah, but I like how he defended as well. You know, he got a couple blocks in that game and just an all-around great effort.
And Kidd-Gilchrist kicks to Bridges. Monk for 3. That shot off the mark. And the Bulls going the other way now. They're moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of Miami.
Yeah, for that loss, you can credit their defense or lack thereof. Too many breakdowns on that end of the floor.
Oh, yeah, Greg, that's just the communication and the energy. It just seemed non-existent on defense, and that can't happen, not at this level.
Carter, 2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul. That's on Miles Bridges.
A solid start to his rookie year for Wendell Carter. And ultimately, it was cut short as he had to have surgery on his thumb. But he showed why he was drafted so high.
Williams, he's checked in for Miles Bridges. And for Carter, after being shut down, Chris, he said he couldn't wait for summer to start so he could improve.
I mean, that's the way the NBA goes, and you have to want to better your game the way Carter does to make it in the NBA. He showed just how much he can impact the floor in his limited time, and this team is excited about what he can do.
Williams gets the bucket.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Here's the great, defended by Batum. Passes to Carter. Over Zeller. Carter, that's good. Carter's got 8 points in the quarter.
He's not playing around. I mean, he hit the ground running the first quarter, and he's only turned it up in the second.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
And there's the pass to Monk. And the foul on Wendell Carter. That will get him his 4th foul of the game.
And that's his 4th.
Both teams making substitutions here. So it's Chicago, controlling the game and finishing the quarter with a 20-point lead. They have made it very tough to get a shot off against them.
Thanks, Kevin. Well, the last few games you have been on fire, and it's carried over to tonight. What's gotten into you these last few games?
I've been trying to figure it out myself. I just look at the day-to-day routine, and more or less it's been the same. So why overthink it?
Thank you, David, for that interview, and we'll see you back here. And with a big gap on the scoreboard, the second half begins with very different. Some changes here for the Hornets. Hernan Gomez is checked in for Kid Gilchrist. And it's Miles Bridges in for Rozier. Levine's checked in for Chicago. The Great comes in for Antonio Blakeney. Back to Monk. And it's in there. Monk's got his 3rd basket of the night right there.
Anytime Monk gets room to shoot, especially inside, he's such a crafty guard who you want to see pulling the trigger from inside.
We've got Hernan Gomez. Monk is out there with Batum. Then it's Bridges. And it's Zeller in at the 5 down low. So that's the group out there for Charlotte. Monk, the pass to Zeller. Over Levine, and there's Zeller. And that's good on the assist by Monk. And it's 8 points for Cody Zeller.
And how about Monk there scanning the floor for the open teammate? That's how you develop a trust from your teammate.
Yeah, a nice, strong finish on the inside.
But Greg, that's what he does. He's got the dunker mentality. And it's Batum with the ball, bringing it up for the Hornets. When this game is done, they'll be off to Miami to take on the Heat. That'll be just 1 game played away from home for them. Well, Chicago's gotten a positive outcome on 7 of their 14 three-pointers in this game. Not bad at all. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Levine.
Well, Jim Boylan, he won the Chicago head coaching job after his interim stint. The fans were unsure of the hire, but the front office believes in him moving forward.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hornets. Williams comes in for Zeller. And Dwayne Bacon subbed in for Nicholas Batum. And the Bulls making a change here as well. Satoransky's checked in for White. Hernan Gomez passes to Bacon. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Another shot, and the call on the shot that sends him to the line. These are his 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game.
Yeah, he's at 81% from the line, and when we've had a chance to see him, he's had great form and continues to look confident.
Denzel Valentine, he's checked in for Otto Porter Jr. And for Boylan, Chris, he's been a bit demanding on his roster.
Yeah, Kevin, it's going to be tough. He's tasked with molding this young Bulls core. I mean, the front office wanted a hard-nosed coach. They believe they found their guy with Boylan's approach.
Players have different ways of leading. Some guys, Chris, are loud and fiery. Others let their play do all the talking. What was your approach?
Well, Kevin, it depended on what situation I was in. When I was in Sacramento, I could be the quiet, fiery guy that led through my actions because Vlade was more of a vocal guy, and we had a really good-spirited team, so I didn't need to do much besides what we did in practice. In my younger days, when you want to win, you want to get out there, and maybe everyone doesn't have the sense of urgency that you do. You're a little bit more vocal, but I've always believed that the best leaders, no matter how well they communicate or anything else, the best leaders lead by example. And if you're telling everyone what to do and you're not doing it, usually it falls on deaf ears. So go out there and do it by example first, and everybody will follow.
Good advice. Now, here's Monk. Satoransky covering. And he gets the... Almost entirely new group in now for Charlotte. Cody Zeller's checked in for Williams. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist comes in for Miles Bridges. Nicholas Batum, he's checked in for Dwayne Bacon. And it's Rozier in for Malik Monk. So the Bulls 5 right now. We've got White. Young out there with Otto Porter Jr. And there's the great. And it's Blakeney in at the 3, the small forward. Rozier kicks to Zeller. Porter against Rozier. Outside, Batum. Pass to Hernan Gomez. Goes back up. With the clock winding down. Slammed home, and he draws the foul. A chance for another point at the free throw line. It's going to go on Otto Porter Jr. C-Web, the NBA always trying to improve every aspect of the game. And that includes officiating.
Yeah, and it should include officiating, one of the most important parts of the game and one of the toughest jobs within the business of basketball. I mean, these guys are making calls on the fly without the advantage of the camera at home that we have watching through the screen, or without the advantage of slow motion technology. So first of all, kudos to the refs that go out and give it their best every day. We have the best refs in any of sports, I believe, and we still need to improve on that. The league recognizes that, and I love the fact that everybody's doing it together.
Here's the great, defended by Batum. Yep, it counts.
Big miscommunication on defense. He recognizes it and quickly takes advantage.
Yeah, they're pouring it on right here, trying to give the opposition no light at the end of the tunnel.
And the basket by Rozier.
And despite the size disadvantage, attacking the heart of that defense.
Yeah, very aggressive. I mean, he takes on the challenge with no hesitation.
The great passes to Porter. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. It goes on Cody Zeller. And last season, Otto Porter on the move, Chris. He was traded at the deadline to the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, and he has fit right in since joining the Bulls. I mean, they needed his outside shooting. Porter is still very young and can grow to be a part of this young Bulls core.
Shooting 2.
The first one falls.
We're still waiting for that first miss from the line this half.
And that's good as he hits both of his shots. And with the likely return of prep to pro prospects, Chris, some have argued for a high school combine to help determine who's ready to make the leap and who isn't.
I'm not really there with the high school combine. I still think that, you still have a level of college or a level of professionalism that can happen after. And I don't believe until you're ready to be evaluated for the pros immediately, should you have that combine. Your bodies are still growing. I talked to Jaren Jackson just yesterday, and he told me that he grew 2 inches over last summer. So I think it's a little unfair to judge these guys that early when their bodies and mentality still has a lot of development left.
The Bulls leading by 21. Here's the great, and he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. With the G League growing by leaps and bounds, one is now being brought to Mexico City, Chris.
I mean, first of all, let's go back to last season. Did you see how crazy those fans were in Jurassic Park in Toronto?
Yeah, they love it.
Can you imagine Mexico? Oh, my
They'll
God.
love it.
This
You
would
better
be
believe
great.
it.
Mexico City, yeah. Let's bring everyone in, all the fans. And what I really love is that it's for the home fan base. So when I think of the Toronto Raptors, I think about the city of Toronto. I think about Canada and how it's theirs. And even though we're one league, that team is theirs, and they take that pride on, and it just brings so much more excitement. Can you imagine all the people in Mexico City being excited for their team? Oh, I want to be at one of the first games when that happens because I know the crowd is going to be sick. It's going to be crazy. I want to be there.
And the Hornets making a change here. Monk's checked in.
And the Bulls last year, Kevin, had a lot of holes in their teams. They struggled on offense as well as defense, and their lack of outside shooting was one of their bigger issues.
Felicia's checked in for the Bulls. And that one misses. C-Webb, the Bulls last year, bottom 2 offense in the league.
Yeah, only slightly better than the Knicks. I mean, Kevin, injuries hurt. They had to suit up 22 different players last year. But overall, this team has a lot of work to do on the offensive end to improve.
Rozier against White. And Rozier pulls it down. Rozier's got his 5th rebound right now in the game.
He's done a lot of the little things to help put them in front. I mean, but his offense has not been there for him tonight.
Outside, Porter. Pass to Blakeney from deep. And the Bulls with another miss.
They've been the better rebounding team by a healthy margin, but it hasn't been enough.
And Kid Gilchrist kicks to Rozier. Back to Kid Gilchrist. That's good, and it's Rozier with the assist. And it's 6 points for Michael Kid Gilchrist.
Moving it around, 8 of their last 10 coming off assists.
Porter passes to Felicio. Outside, White. Outside, Porter. The fader. And the rebound goes to the Hornets. Rozier's got 6 rebounds now in the game. Kept alive. Here's Zeller. Kid Gilchrist trying to free himself up. A nice shot by Zeller.
He's been a different guy here in the second half. His shooting percentage far better than it was before the break.
Pass to Blakeney. The 3. And the rebound goes to the Hornets.
They haven't needed him as much as I thought they would tonight.
Now the pass to Monk. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line. It's on Thaddeus Young.
And was last season really the first full season we got to see of Malik Monk? Was given a sizable part of the rotation and showed why he was a lottery pick for this team.
Free throw drops for Monk. During most of his rookie season, Monk was relegated to the bench.
Not sure if it was development or opportunity. Hard to say for Monk. Fact is, you can see the knack for scoring he has, even if he's a bit of a volume scorer at this point.
And the Bulls making a change here. Levine's checked in. No good on the second, so he hits 1 of 2. And so it's Porter bringing it up now for the Chicago Bulls. 13-point lead. Outside, Levine. Gets it to go from beyond the arc. Levine's got 16 here in the second half.
It's been this way since halftime. Tremendous production from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and they aren't just chucking up anything. I mean, they're doing a great job of creating quality looks.
And the Hornets call time here.
Yeah, and the Hornets, they had a very strong bench, not only with their scoring, but how they impact rebounding and passing. I mean, one of the better benches in this league.
And now we get the chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Zach LaVine.
And what an amazing ball game we've seen from him. It's been a one-man show worth the price of admission all by itself. There wasn't anything he couldn't do on that court tonight.
And maybe him having a game like this will get things turned around for him because almost nothing has been going their way lately. A steal. White against Rozier. White dishes to Porter. Pass to Felicio. White with it. Picked up by Kid Gilchrist. 5 on the clock. White drives in. Here's Felicio. Kicks it to Young. Felicio, the pass to Young. Outside, White. Over Kid Gilchrist, and good. Got the friendly bounce off the right side of the rim. And the Bulls lead by 18.
Relentless in their approach, even with the game firmly in hand.
But, GA, this is no let-up. You know, this is the kind of hard-nosed competitiveness that wins games.
Here's Monk. No good on that one. Nice D from Levine. Chicago leading by 18.
And this is what they wanted. I mean, to announce their presence in this matchup with authority. Very decisive. It can definitely be considered a statement win for the Bulls.
They enjoyed a big boost from the strong play of their bench.
The subs came in and did their job. Those points off the bench were key to their victory.
And during the long NBA season, each contest important here tonight. Tonight's win will give them 4 on the season.
And once the horn sounds, they're going to go up 2-0 in the season series.
And you know, looking back at all the contributions tonight, it was a really phenomenal all-around game for Zach LaVine.
No fatigue in this fella tonight. Tireless, grinding out every possession and leading their offense.
Here's Rozier, and nothing is falling for him right now. And here's White. Pass to Levine, launches it. Hornets with the rebound. There's 18 seconds left in the fourth. And Kid Gilchrist kicks to Rozier. On the wing, Batum. From the corner. Kid Gilchrist with it. And so Chicago takes this one, and by a big margin. This one was over well before the final buzzer. The fans were waiting for something to get excited about, Greg.
They sure did. I mean, they just rolled to this win. They made it look really easy. What an efficient performance at both ends.
And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. See you later.
Hey, Jay.
Hey.
I got a request from Hank and the Hornet. You good to go?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, cool.
Jay, welcome in. You're on with Hank and the Hornet.
Get real or get stung.
Yeah, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, I'm good, man.
Awesome. So I want to ask asking you about your growth as a player. You have come a long way since the beginning of the season. I'm just wondering, who's most responsible for that?
I mean, can I say me?
Survey says, ding, heck yes you can.
I'm just saying, man, look, it was me in the gym all night putting up all those shots, so who else am I going to give credit to, you know?
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me.
Fake it till you make it, baby. Story of my life, am I right, Hank?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we got with Che. So, Che, thanks so much for joining us. A real pleasure, as always.
Hey, for sure, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Watch what you say, Che. Come on.
What you talking about, man? Y'all tripping, man. I'll take it back.
All right. You guys ready to get down to business? We got a new contract to hash out.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Absolutely. All right, let's do it. Pleasure doing business with you, Don.
Levi, the pleasure's all mine. Excited to stay in the Che business.